What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and in this video I'm going to be detailing the god rolls for the new Dawning weapons that are coming out tomorrow in Destiny 2 with the winter event. So the first one is the new one, which is Mistral Lift, and I'll just talk about the god roll that I'm going for first, which would be Fluted Barrel for increased handling and some extra stability, which is really nice because this is an adaptive 3-round burst. And then you have Accelerated Coils. That just decreases the charge time, but it does decrease the damage a little bit, but still, I just like the faster charge time. And then Withering Gaze, aiming down sights for 1.5 seconds without firing causes your next direct hit to apply Weaken, so that's going to be really strong. And then Bait and Switch is a 30% damage boost when you do damage with your other two weapons, so that is the highest damage boost of all these weapon perks. But that being said, there are some other really good perks. And then if I could choose, I would go for a Handling Masterwork. So that to me is the 5 out of 5 god roll, because Withering Gaze can apply a weaken from a long way away. So even though we have things like Prismatic, where it's much easier to apply weaken like by yourself, having something like this, especially as a solo GM player, you could debuff like every champion, which is a 15% debuff. And then as long as you proc Bait and Switch, you're getting a 30% damage buff. So 1.15 times 1.3, you're dealing 49.5% extra damage with this combination. That being said, you do have to aim down sights for 1.5 seconds. So this isn't optimal for like team raid DPS, for instance. But if you're looking at raid DPS, linear fusions are already shit in that department, and there's many better options. So just based on a utility role, this Withering Gaze Bait and Switch is absolutely excellent. And we did get one of these adaptive 3-round bursts before. I can't think of the name, but it's that Strand one that came from Nightfalls last season. It rolled with Bait and Switch, and it was actually able to proc Bait and Switch on the very first shot of that 3-round burst. So yeah, you can ADS, proc Bait and Switch, and yeah, you're just going to be doing a heck of a lot more damage. But if we look at the other perks, you've got Envious Arsenal, which is really nice because you'll never have to remember to reload it, which is something I forget when I'm doing solo GMs. So sometimes I could whip this out and it might not be reloaded, but even still, that's the god roll I want. Clown Cartridge, Envious Assassin, those are also very, very good. They basically increase how much you have in your magazine. Keep Away and Moving Target, these are for PvP, and these things are actually really good in PvP. I've used the Root of Nightmares. Alright, editing Tizzle here. So Briar's Contempt is the one I've used in PvP, and it actually feels really good. It's really easy to get kills with these 3-round burst ones. And Scintillation is the one that can roll with Bait and Switch, rewind rounds Bait and Switch. So yeah, this one with Bait and Switch is going to be really nasty. And then yeah, you've got Reconstruction, Vorpal Weapon, which is only 10% on heavy weapons, so not worth it. High Impact Reserves, also not worth it, especially if you had a mag increasing perk, because you're really never going to proc that. Frenzy is really nice. Precision Instrument can go up to 25% damage. Frenzy gives reload and handling, which is nice, but it is only 15% increase to damage. Firing Line is 20%, and High Ground taps out at 25% at 3 stacks. And depending on like the boss damage situation or whatever, as long as you have High Ground at all times, you'll be at ×3. So this one is very situational, where I like Bait and Switch because it's just so easy to proc. And its main competitor is Doomed Petitioner, which is also an adaptive 3-round burst with Reconstruction and Precision Instrument. So yeah, this thing is just flat out better. Like I said, you could apply Weaken and then get Bait and Switch going. Super, super nasty. So that's the roll I'm going to be chasing. Taipan is the other one. It's a precision frame, but it can roll with Field Prep Frenzy or Triple Tap Frenzy, which is really strong, but it's just getting power crept completely by Mistral Lift. So yeah, I really am actually looking forward to farming this weapon because I think it's going to be really strong, especially like I said, in like a solo GM type environment with Withering Gaze just being able to give you weaken on demand on like any target. And speaking of that, actually, let's look at Glacioclasm next. So we've got Air Trigger and Withering Gaze. So again, you could proc Weaken just from your your fusion rifle. That being said, you do have to aim down sights for 1.5 seconds. So that could be a good play. You've also got Envious Assassin Controlled Burst. So something that can overflow the mag, and then Controlled Burst. You deal 20% increased damage and 10% decreased charge time as long as you land every shot. So that's a really good DPS roll. Also, Envious Reservoir Burst would be really good for ad clear. Same with Overflow Reservoir Burst, or even Subsistence Reservoir Burst. As long as you can keep the magazine overflowed, then Res Burst is dealing 25% increased damage, and it does that explosion for ad clear. And you could even go Slide Shot to keep reloading it, but I think Envious Assassin, depending on your other weapon, so you can keep reloading it, or Overflow. And then Air Trigger also gives, it's like Field Prep in that it gives more inventory size. So even Air Trigger Reservoir Burst wouldn't be bad, but you would have to keep reloading it. But it does increase your reload speed with a 0.8x duration multiplier if you're in the air. So just do a little bunny hop to reload. But yeah, I think the other ones still would be better for Reservoir Burst. The ones that overflow the mag, because you can just basically keep shooting. And then for PvP, we've got Lone Wolf and Under Pressure, both very, very good perks. And then you've got High Impact Reserves, which is very nasty on these high impacts. And then let's just look at Time to Kill. So yeah, it can 3-bolt. I'm not sure if High Impact actually changes that. Probably not. But either way, High Impact Reserves, if nothing else, it would push your range out further. And in PvP, you always like only have 1 or 2 in the mag. So you're getting High Impact Reserves a lot. And then yeah, Lone Wolf is just really good. Closing Time could also be excellent, gives you better accuracy, better range, better handling. So Lone Wolf Closing Time or Under Pressure Closing Time could also be amazing. Probably better than High Impact Reserves in all honesty, but maybe Lego LaFlash can give some more info there. But yeah, if you're just wondering what you want for PvP, probably Under Pressure, Lone Wolf, and Closing Time. And then for me, I would like a Accelerated Coils personally. And same with Mistral Lift, Accelerated Coils. It does decrease the damage a bit, but that quicker charge time is really nice. So yeah, some very interesting rolls. Withering Gaze, I don't like it as much on a fusion rifle as a linear fusion rifle, but it could still have some good utility. Next we have Avalanche. So I actually have Subsistence Incandescent, and I had tested it. So if you scorch enough enemies and trigger an ignition from the machine gun itself, then that will proc Subsistence. So you can just like lay into enemies for ad clear and then proc ignitions, and it's just going to completely refill that magazine with Subsistence. So that's really nice. Autoloading Cascade Point is really, really strong. The reason I don't love Cascade Point is it doesn't increase your actual damage, but it just allows you to shoot way, way quicker. So it is more DPS, but it's not higher damage. So it can be a little tough on your machine gun reserves. Like you might chew through ammo a lot doing that, but it is really good for like melting champions down. And in something like Moon Battlegrounds or something where you have lots of heavy ammo crates, autoloading Cascade Point, you shouldn't sleep on it. It's actually very, very powerful. Golden Tricorn could be good, especially depending on your build, because you can get ×2 going for a 50% damage increase, and there's some certain solar builds that really spam abilities. So yeah, that's a really big damage boost. Obviously Incandescent, like I said, it also has really good synergy with solar, so that could be good. I don't love target lock, but some people do. But there's no mag over. Oh yeah, there's rewind round. So rewind round's target lock could be quite good as well. I would stay away from Vorpal Weapon again. Firing line I don't like. Collective Action is really build dependent, but it is an easy 20% damage increase. I don't like heal clip on machine guns at all because reloading machine guns sucks. So I would just basically look at Subsistence or autoloading holster for the machine gun. And then yeah, PvP again, pretty niche, but yeah, Closing Time would be good. And then I don't know, take your pick. Dragonfly Incandescent could be really neat as well. There's only a couple weapons in the game that roll with this, and yeah, it's a really neat wombo combo because you can make the explosion and then you're spreading Scorch with Incandescent. So that's quite fun. I would like it on a scout rifle way more than a machine gun, but something that's interesting and fun anyways. But yeah, again, some really good perks here, and don't sleep on autoloading Cascade Point. Then we have Albedo Wing. So this came out last Dawning, and I was very upset because I was hoping it would be a Stasis Glaive, but finally Rake Angle gave us the Stasis Glaive I so craved. So yeah, had to wait basically another year, but we got there. Something I didn't mention is we have this Dawning Surprise origin trait on all these weapons, and this one also has Hawkeye breach armaments, and that's another thing I should have mentioned. This one is on Vice Stinger, so you could proc Withering Gaze, and then sometimes it's going to reload your magazine as well. So yeah, Vice Stinger is nice. Here we have Suro Synergy or Dawning Surprise. Glacioclasm has Omalon Fluid Dynamics. Albedo Wing, Hawkeye breach armaments, so more damage to constructs and vehicles and stuff. Or the Dawning Surprise, where scoring multiple kills with the weapon spawns a Dawning Gift for you and allies. Dawning Gifts remain on the ground for 10 seconds. Picking them up gives you 10% grenade, melee, and class ability energy, and a bit of health and health regen. So that's actually a really good origin trait, but it's kind of slept on because not a lot of people use these weapons, but it is just something to note. So we do have Eddy Current and Volt Shot. I do have a Volt Shot, 1 second. Unexpected Resurgence. So mine is Impulse Amplifier, Volt Shot, or Frenzy. Like, I completely lucked out with this. This thing is nasty. I know I only have 175 kills, but trust me, it's really good. This one I have more kills on because I just like auto-loading. But Volt Shot is very good. It can work against overloads, but you used to have to go into trials to get one of those. So we have had Unstoppable Glaive before, and we're probably getting a Glaive perk next season. So if it was Unstoppable and you get one with Volt Shot, now you can deal with unstops and overloads just with your Glaive. So that's very, very strong. Close to melee is really nice in melee builds. I just made a build video on my Hunter that would take full advantage of close to melee. So check that out if you do want to mess around with a Glaive. And I'm working on some other Glaive videos for Warlock and Titan as well. They'll be out before next act, but yeah, they're still a ways away. Let's see, we've got Replenishing Aegis, which I really like because you don't have to reload. And then Demolitionist is really good on Glaives as it grants 20% grenade energy. So yeah, that's very, very strong on special weapons. So you could go like Air Trigger Demo. Again, Air Trigger gives more inventory stat. Or Air Trigger Volt Shot would be really, really good because it does increase that reload speed. So like I said, I have Impulse Amplifier Volt Shot on mine, but Air Trigger Volt Shot would honestly be better because you can just bunny hop to activate it and you get greater reserves. What else? Strategist. So yeah, you could go like Strategist Demo to just really feed into your class ability and grenades. So that could be good. I don't really like kill-based perks like these because these do only work on the Glaive projectile, not the melee. So to get Golden Tricorn going, you would have to get a projectile kill, and the projectiles don't really need damage increases in my opinion, especially ones that require a kill. Like, I do like Frenzy on it, but these kill-based ones I'm just not crazy about. So I would go for utility like Strategist Demo, or close to melee for that increased melee damage, or Volt Shot, and then even Lead from Gold. Something like Air Trigger Lead from Gold, you're going to have a crap ton of ammo. So yeah, could be really good. Grave Robber is also quite nice on these if you hate reloading, because you could go like Grave Robber close to melee, so you get a kill with the projectile, and then you're doing more melee damage, and as soon as you get a Glaive melee kill, it's going to reload that magazine, so you'd really never have to reload. So that's also a nice wombo combo. But yeah, some very interesting ones. Air Trigger Volt Shot, Grave Robber close to melee, or Strategist Demo is what I would go for. And then I like shield duration stuff. Appended Mag might not be bad. Or Accurized for increased range, which helps to speed up the Glaive projectile. But yeah, you basically just want something with better shield duration. So something like Auxiliary Reserves would be really nice, especially with Air Trigger or Grave Robber, because it does decrease reload speed, but you don't really ever have to reload. And Replenishing Aegis, also you never really have to reload that one too much. So yeah, honestly, really, really good, the Albedo Wing. Then we have the Stay Frosty. So these things with kill clip are super, super nasty. So look, 0.53 seconds, tier 4 to tier 10, 6 crit kill with kill clip. So something like Encore kill clip, Moving Target kill clip. I actually have one with kill clip, and yeah, like I said, it is really, really good. Enlightened Action Headstone. This is my kill clip one. Encore kill clip with a range masterwork. Accurized Corkscrew, like I already have the PvP god roll in my opinion. But yeah, moving target is also really, really nice. A lot of people are liking Lone Wolf. You do have Enlightened Action again, Killing Wind. But yeah, basically I'd go for Kill Clip in PvP. In PvE, Frenzy is just always nice, but Rhyme Stealer Headstone is probably what most people are going to go for. Like I said, I have Enlightened Action Headstone, but Rhyme Stealer would be a little better. Destroying a Stasis Crystal or defeating a frozen target with this weapon grants you Frost Armor. So yeah, even the Enlightened Action Headstone one I quite like. And then you've also got like Desperate Measures, Adrenaline Junkie, so some really, really good perks yet again. Moving Target Headseeker could be really nice in PvP. Tunnel Vision Kill Clip would be really nasty in PvP as well. So yeah, some more really good traits on this one. And then we have the Zephyr. So if you missed out on the Slammer, that had Cold Steel, but this is actually the original one with Cold Steel. So again, you've got a lot of utility here. It applies 40 slow stacks per hit, and then the heavies apply 60. So you can stun an overload with Cold Steel, and then in just a couple shots you can freeze an unstop, and then when you shatter that freeze, you will be able to deal with unstoppables as well. So very, very strong. And if you happen to be Radiant, then you could also deal with anti-barriers. So tons of utility. So I would go with Relentless Strikes and Cold Steel. You could also go Attrition Orbs, Cold Steel, Strategist if you were trying to get your class ability a lot. Whirlwind Blade, so Relentless Whirlwind is just like an ageless classic for damage, but like I said, I just really like this one. You can do you. There's some really good, like One for All is very strong for ad clear, so is Surrounded, so is Chain Reaction, but for me, it's all about Cold Steel. Because of the utility it provides. You could get Rhyme Stealer, Cold Steel if you like, but for me, it's Relentless Strikes, Cold Steel, and then probably Swordmaster's Guard and Jagged Edge, and then hopefully something like Hungry Edge as well for more ammo. So then you could swap between the whatever you're doing. Say you needed a ton of ammo, you go with Hungry Edge, and if you want to just straight up damage, go Jagged Edge. So yeah, that is it for the Dawning weapons this season. And they're honestly looking really, really good. I would be happy to get all those god rolls. I do have the Subsistence, Incandescent, and Auto-Loading Cascade Point Avalanche already, so I don't really have to farm that out. I might try to get Albedo Wing with like Strategist and Demo, because I already have a close to melee one from last season. Glacioclasm, I got all my god rolls last season. Stay Frosty, I already have, and I don't really care about Rhyme Stealer. Zephyr, I already have a Cold Steel Zephyr as well as a Cold Steel Slammer. So for me, it's just really going to be chasing this Mistral Lift. But if you haven't done the Dawning in the last little while, honestly, all these are worth going after. So yeah, I hope the video helped. And if you found it helpful, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.